I don't know if any of you have heard the Dexcom announcement for the G7 to transmit directly to Apple Watches. I am stoked about that. And that would have made running a heck of a lot easier. All right. Good morning. It is Monday, June 10th. And it's been a sec since I've been able to work out. 2 vacations. Finally back home. So glad to be home. But anyway, we're doing a chest workout today. Same thing as always. Starting off with bench, and then we'll move into a overhead press. I'm gonna try being seated today and see if I can maybe swing. Well, I'll probably still keep it single arm, but after that, tricep extents, and then we're done and ready for the day. I did have a low last night at 2 a.m., which was no fun, but I still feel like I got a good amount of sleep, but it's always tough when you have a low that late. And then I intentionally do not look at my phone or anything that late at night because I feel like it's so much harder to go back to sleep. But last night I still couldn't go back to sleep for like an hour. So I think around 3 something I fell asleep. But anyway, it's gonna be a great day. Looks like a beautiful day. The sun's shining right in my face. So got a warm up set on bench and we'll move into it. Oh, feeling good. It always feels so good to be back. You take a couple of days off, and then that first workout, I feel like it just feels so needed. Well, needed for one, and then just good. But anyway, I'm excited to be back and hopefully get a routine. I don't think my wife are going anywhere, at least over multiple days, for at least a few weeks, so I'll be able to get in a good rhythm, and hopefully we can start seeing some more progress, upping these numbers, and get some strength. But we're already halfway through the year, and I know I'm a little behind where I'd want to be, but it's all patience and consistency and stuff like this. So I'm just here for the ride. Okay, this is technically a working set of the first one, and then I'll have 4 more after this while I have to wait. But here we go. Nice. Right, up the weight, and then we're on to our, I guess, max weight for all the sets. All right. So like I mentioned, my wife and I just got back, and we took our little son on these trips. And as much as I love traveling and going new places, I feel like sometimes it's hard not to be stressed out with everything else you have going on. So I haven't been the best about, while I am traveling, I'm enjoying traveling to the fullest and not being stressed about work back home or all these projects. And so this last 2 weeks, I guess, was really great. I feel like I was very intentional about taking time off, not only at work, but like in my own head, that I allowed myself to relax on these vacations, and it was so nice. I don't think I've given myself permission to breathe in a long time. So it was it was so nice. And just some of the activities we were able to golf, which my wife and I love, and just be at the beach and ride bikes, and it was so nice to be relaxed and just soak up vacation. And I think everybody needs that to some extent. There's a time to hustle, time to work hard, but I think everybody needs a reset, and a self-allowed reset, not just scheduling a vacation and going for a day, but intentionally taking that time off in your own head. Huge help. Highly recommend. All right, third set. I think I lied. That was actually my second set. Yes, it was. All right. So 3 left. Anyway, on that note, I am glad to be back. There's always like post-vacation coming back to reality. Always a little bit interesting, especially when you work. And I feel like at any job, there's projects in your pipeline that are interrupted by your vacation. And so when you come back, you know that more projects were scheduled, which you don't know about. And then you have the projects that were on hold during your time off. So, a little worried about work this week, but again, that's all. I'm glad I allowed myself to get time away, and then now being back, I can get into that, get my rhythm, get my groove. I think there's just 2 types of people in the world. There are those who can take as many vacations as they want, it doesn't seem to bother them. And then there's the kinds of people like me who one vacation or one break in the routine just totally throws me off my jam. Trying to get better at that, but I don't know what that is. I wonder if that's a personality thing or just a perspective mentality thing. But my wife could be gone every day out of the year and be totally fine. But like I mentioned, I get so stressed, and even after one vacation, I feel like it's like, oh, I broke my routine. I got to make up all this work. I got to go back to exercising normally, and it's just a mess. But again, vacations are good. They're for a reason, but it's hard for me sometimes. Let me know if it's the same for you, and if you have any tips, because I still can't figure that out. All right, now it's the third set. I guess another frustrating thing is that with vacation and specifically with working out, you can see the effect that the inconsistency has on your progress. For instance, this is the same weight I've been lifting on bench for the past few weeks, and I haven't really seen enough progress to step up the weight. And so it is kind of frustrating to be like, oh, if I were just here, if I were just consistent, I'd be able to start seeing those numbers increase or the amount of reps I can do increase. But it does take a toll when you're taking trips and not consistent. And I find it so hard to work out when you're on a trip. I guess it's easy to be active when you're on a trip, but it's sometimes difficult to work out, especially if you're going with a lot of family or friends and you have things scheduled throughout the day, and if you were to go to the gym, you'd be missing something. And so I always try and stay very active when I'm on vacation. So like I mentioned, golf, bike rides, going to the beach, swimming, like there's always a lot of things you can be doing that's healthy. But in terms of being consistent in the gym and then getting to your destination, and them not having equipment, if you're doing an Airbnb, they most likely don't have like a gym or a workout room. Hotels normally do, but yeah, that's a tough one. But I need to think about that one more, because I do think I could make like body weight workouts or something that I could do there that would be helpful. But anyway, fourth set down, last set up next. Almost there. Also, guys, please don't make fun of me for using bumper plates. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you look closely, most of my bumpers aren't even matching. So I could potentially be like 10 pounds stronger with my left or right arm. I would have no idea, because the weights aren't the same. I mean, they're the same weight, they aren't the same brand, so I wonder if there's like a discrepancy there. But anyway, I use bumpers because before I got injured, I did a lot of like Olympic lifts, a lot of yes, I did power cleans, but clean and jerk, snatch, and kind of need bumpers, especially if working out at home. I mean, you always need bumpers, but anyway, I found a great deal on a guy who sells like wholesale weights. And he somehow, I don't know if he buys from old gyms or what, but he had extras of each like weight number. So he had extra 45s, extra 35s, 25s, etc. And so I took all of his extras and had a full set, but they were all mismatch. But it was a great deal, and so I couldn't pass it up, and ever since I've been working out with just random bumpers. And I do still have normal metal plates, but I tend to flip those and then use them to buy other workout stuff. So I'm weird. All right, last set. All right, those feel good. I mean, I think in the next week or two I can start moving the weight up finally. I'll take these off, and we can do some overhead press. I've been trying to do it. I guess I've been using the kettlebell here, but I think I want to move up in weight a little bit. If I'm keeping reps a little bit lower. So I'm going to try using the dumbbell. Problem is, in the past, when I've used this big dumbbell, I've hit the ceiling. And so I either have to bend down, which is awkward, or just use the kettlebell. So we're gonna try it seated. I know it's gonna be a little lopsided, but I've done unilateral work like that in the past, and I imagine there's some benefit to being a little lopsided and trying to balance that, but I'm not trying to break anything here. So grab the 50s. Let's see what we can do. Let's see, I want to push this just a little bit back. Also, I don't know if I've ever introduced the Jeep here. This is a 1972 chassis, the CJ, and then it's kind of a custom build, and so there's a Mustang Boss 302 68 in it, so it's loud as all get out, but it's so fun. And her name is Azula. So for any of you who have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's like bright blue flames on the front of it. Super subtle. Just kidding. Not subtle at all, but it is a fun car. We don't drive it a lot, but it's fun to take out and drive around town and up in the mountains. All right, let's see if this seated OHP goes all right. It's heavy, but it works. Yeah, those will kill me. All right. I know I brought up, well, my voice, sorry. I know I brought up like commercial gyms versus home gyms in the past. I really do like working out at home, but you're obviously limited by equipment. But do you guys like working out at home, or do you like going to a commercial gym? Definitely pros and cons to both. So curious what your opinion will be. But living where I do, I think I'm probably 20 minutes away from the nearest commercial gym, which I don't have 40 minutes to spare in a day anyway, so just not in the cards for me. Or moving a little bit closer, so I might look at it, but yeah, it's definitely something you gotta take into account, is how close you are. All right, let's get a second set. And fun little tip on dumbbell overhead press. I always like to hold the inside side of the grip. I feel like you get that weight that falls and it kind of pops your shoulder. It sounds dangerous. It doesn't pop your shoulder, but it allows your shoulder to move more fully, I think. I always feel it a lot more when I kind of grab the inside plate and butt up against it. So just a little tip. Feel good. I remember when I very first started lifting, like high school glory days, when you passed the 60s, so like 60 dumbbells in each hand, I just felt like that was a rite of passage for overhead press in the gym. Is if you can rep the 60s and then keep going up from there. I just feel like I don't know, you know what you're doing at that point, unless you're just big and naturally strong. But for a skinny, scrawny twig like me to finally get those up when I was in high school, I remember being so excited. Yep, those were the good old days. I'm not even doing that now, which is funny, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Slow and steady. I don't know if any of you have heard the Dexcom announcement for the G7 to transmit directly to Apple Watches. I am stoked about that. And that would have made running a heck of a lot easier last year. But I just think for being active and, I don't know, just not having to take your phone everywhere, I love that, and I think if we can help mitigate screen time in an already very screen-heavy world, anything that helps is good. So I'm excited for that. I want to do some fun content around that, but might be a sec. All right, here we go. Yeah, I do feel like those are heavy, which is funny, but I'm gonna have to drop it. I think there's a clear difference between when you can control the weight versus when the weight controls the movement. So for instance, on overhead press, if I'm really struggling to get it up and kind of hold that flex position at the top, and the gravity of the weight and my body's lack of ability to control it starts it slipping down, and then I'm fighting to get it back up, and I just feel like that isn't a very controlled like movement, and so I might drop the weight, because I feel like you should be able to control the weight not only up but down when you have gravity kind of helping the weight. You should be able to keep that slow and have a fluid motion. I don't feel like I'm getting that here. So I have one set. I'll probably drop the reps on this last set. And then next time we'll maybe do 40 or 45 just to keep that weight controlled. But anyway, this is why I need consistency. I'm already losing numbers. Dang it. All right, last set. Nice. Of course, I did not drop the reps. The ego is still very much strong and alive. All right, gonna finish up with some tricep extents. I'm a little, I guess, ahead of time, so we're gonna do 3 sets of 12 on this. And I don't really watch the weight on this movement, and I've probably skipped over the footage in the past, but we have a little time today, so I'll keep it in. But again, I don't focus on the weight as much. I honestly don't even know how to measure this. I mean, it's 20, 30, 50 on a janky pulley system, but I just go for how it feels in reps. I'm not super worried about increasing the weight unless I feel like I need it to get the stretch. But yeah, ultimately we're just focused on good range of motion, good kind of hypertrophy focused sets, and good reps. So that's it. There we go. Good first set. I really like tricep extents. I know there is a litany of ways that you can do them: close grip, reverse grip, wide grip. If you do it with a dumbbell or free weights, skull crushers are technically tricep extension movement. You do the overhead cable pulls, and then all of the different grips on a tricep push down, I think is what they call it when you do it with a machine. But I always just feel a really good kind of squeeze in the movement, and so I love doing these. I will say I had shoulder pain for a while, but I was standing really upright and kind of like leaning back, and I feel like it puts strain on my inside shoulder. And so I switched it to kind of put one foot back and brace, and then lean over it a little bit, and then come in and you kind of pop yourself up as you push the weight down. That helped me. If you do have shoulder pain, try that out. Definitely makes doing these a lot better when you're not in pain. And you can actually feel your triceps working instead of the front of your shoulders getting torn apart. All right, second set. Those are burning. Nice. This pulley is so jank. I feel like I have to fix it every time. Not like the actual pulley part, that can be dangerous, but the I guess the casing that this weight slides on always comes undone. But you know what? If you're not risking your life in the gym, what are you in the gym for? You know, it's a terrible quote. Do not quote me on that. Last set, and I'm excited that it's Monday. Get a good full work week. Be able to get a lot done. The house is coming along nicely. I've been thinking about doing a kind of weekly. It's like a vlog, like throwing it back to OG YouTube. But I think there's just elements of my life outside of lifting that are impacted by type 1. And honestly, that I just love to share, that I want to start incorporating more into content and putting that out. So I'll have the insulin resistance training footage keep going up. It's super, super simple, and I just hope that anyone who wants to follow along with the weight journey could. But outside of that, I want to have the weekly kind of vlogs, and then all those specialty videos. So anyway, all right, last set, and then we're gonna wrap this puppy up. There it is. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Stay consistent. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy vacation. But keep working hard. Stay in your routines. If you can, stay in routines. Even when you take vacation, it doesn't stress you out. Do it. But keep going one by one.